Hello everyone, welcome. Today is November 7th, 6 p.m. in India and 7:30 a.m. in the US EST time. So welcome all to our International Youth Conclave. I'm Srimati.
And I'm Dharani Shri.
And we are Shri Sisters. We are students, dancers, and choreographers, dance teachers. So thank you all for joining into our virtual youth conclave. And it's been an amazing experience putting this whole event together. And we're looking for the best event to come. And I hope you all enjoy it as well. So we'll get started immediately. And before that, I'd like to let you all know that we're also live on Shri Sisters YouTube channel. And we have great things coming up. So this event is organized by the Shri Sisters with the Sixth Sense Foundation, Global International School, Kongunadu Arts and Science College, and Shri Niketan College for Science for Women. So thank you guys for joining, and to let you know, please stay till the end so that you can get access to the feedback form and then eventually earn a certificate for participation.
And without any further ado, let's get started with the mini prayer.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, God, for gathering us all here today. Thank you, God, for bringing great speakers to this event. Thank you, God, for blessing all of us with good health and happiness. Thank you, God, for giving us the wisdom to learn from speakers today. And most importantly, thank you, God, for uniting all of us from all around the world to help each other grow.
Thank you. That was great. So we'll kickstart the event with an awesome welcome address addressed by Mr. Santosh Kumar, Principal of Global International School. Mr. Santosh, please go ahead.
Hi everyone. I'm so happy to see audience across the globe. We have participants from several countries. So happy. And this event, International Youth Conclave on Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the world is one family. This was actually a thought emerged from our mind, and Mr. Selvaraj sir, and he supported a lot, and he is the one who gave shape to this program. A very good evening to one and all, and I take a great privilege in welcoming you all to this August gathering. It's my pleasure to walk you through the conference, introduce you to the speakers and delegates who have come from all over the world today to share their knowledge and enhance our mental horizon. Sixth Sense Foundation is a youth social service organization through which students and young professionals with a passion to serve society bridge the gap between the learned and unlearned through education. The foundation was established in year 2009. 100 students were provided assistance to their higher studies so far. Our flagship project is Lakshya Rural Empowerment Program, through which the foundation adopted a village near Tiruvallur. Sixth Sense Foundation is proud to organize this conference, which is first of its kind, along with Kongunadu Arts and Science College, Global International School Kangayam, Sharda Niketan, and Great Three Sisters. We have planned to conduct more international youth web conclaves with theme ranging from the environment to politics to business. The theme of this conference is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world is one family. Hindu Dharma or Hinduism is the only religion in the world which embodies oneness philosophy. We are proud to announce today that the eminent academicians, politicians, businessmen, professionals are speaking on various topics. I especially welcome our patron, Dr. C.A. Vasugi ma'am, who is going to deliver presidential address in this program. And I also welcome Dr. Madhukar Adi, Professor Guru Prakash, Sri Arun Kumar, Dr. Sr Madan Shankar, Sri Harsha Narayan, Advocate Surya, Ms. Sandar Kya, Madhu Sudha, and Selvaraj Nagamuthu. Thank you one and all for giving the opportunity to welcome you all. Thanks.
So thank you, Dr. Santosh Kumar, for a wonderful welcome address. So next,
and now for the presidential address, please help me welcome Dr. C.A. Vasuki, the Secretary and Director of Kongunadu Arts and Science College, Coimbatore. She is one of the few chosen researchers by United States Department of Agriculture for a research project at Beltsville Agricultural Research Center, USA. So please help me welcome this amazing woman. Over to you.
Over to you, ma'am, Dr. Vasuki, ma'am.
Hello. Hello. Thank you, girls. Thank you. Thanks a lot to all the people. Good morning. Good evening. It's really nice to join all of y'all, especially the welcome address by Sr Kumar. I think I got to know that quite a lot of people are joining through various forms. And Srimati sisters, you are wonderful girls. I think even though it was late evening, it really chirped me up. Like like more than having a nice, good hot chocolate, you girls are sitting there. Thank you. And namaskar. Loka samasta sukhino bhavatu. We aspire for global happiness. It is indeed a very proud moment for me to be part of this youth conclave on Vasudeva Kudumbakam. And our institution, Kongunadu Arts and Science College, is nearly 48-year-old institution, and it is a legendary example as we advocate the principles of Swami Vivekananda, who took this country to greater heights through his speech in Chicago, which was nearly 152 years back, which made the entire world to look towards Bharatvarsha. You know, 150 years back, India was in great turmoil. People lost the confidence. And because even though we talk about the Vedas and the rich culture, all this was lost because of constant invasions for nearly 800 years by foreign invaders. So that was the time all the eyebrows lifted to see into our great country. So what is this Vasudeva Kudumbakam? That is, the world is one family. You know where that word came? The word was first coined. We can't give a time frame when that was coined, but there is an evidence which it was taken from Maha Upanishad, which a time to elucidate the country's global outlook. Amazing, isn't it? How long was this? Can we give a time frame when this Vedas was written? No, it was quite a long time ago. So that many thousands of years back. So even then, this great Bharata had a global outlook. And while this term and mantra of India's
One sec, ma'am, we couldn't hear you.
Just
One sec.
Could you please
Could unmute yourself?
It got muted.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, yes.
Thank you. Sorry. You can go ahead.
Oh, you didn't hear me from the beginning?
No,
No,
we heard
just
just
last
now.
5
Just
seconds.
last 5
Sorry,
seconds.
I think I was messed up the key. Sorry. Anyway, when you talk about this, when this Vasudeva Kudumbam word was coined, we cannot fix a timeline to it. So that was when during the Vedic periods, and so now that has become in India's in the dictionary of India, I would say it is a diplomatic lexicon. It points towards a very interdependent and a very supportive and mutually inclusive system. That is, when you think our human beings are such a gregarious form, we are not solitary, are we? Even now in pandemic, we realized when we were kept in isolation for just a couple of weeks, we were all struggling because basically we are all we are so interdependent on one another. So that's what to conceptualize it, we call the others from an I, thou approach to I, we. So we can only exist in the we form. not I form. So that's exactly what it means. So a similar passage when you see in another Vedic text called Hitopadesha, it also mentions about Vasudeva Kudumbakam. And what does it say? It says, like when people say, this is my relative, and you are a stranger. He is my relative, and you are a stranger. I don't know you. The people who live next door, I don't know you. So that is exactly what you call narrow-mindedness. And what our uh, Vedas say is that for a noble person with a noble heart, the entire earth is a family. Isn't that great? The same thing, which I really love most. The thought, like, the first thing which is written when you walk into our institution, when I was a student, was Yadam Ure Yavarim Kelir. And it was written 2000 years back by a poet called Kaniyan Pungundranath. And it means, like, to us, all cities and all our men are kith and kin. And the other great thing is, today women talk about, oh, I need empowerment. And during Vedic periods, how women were? The family was regarded as a very functional unit, where each and every one, whether it is man or woman, everybody had a role to play, and where everybody had equal rights in the family decision. So that's how the decisions were taken, and that's how the family was run. This is a single family unit. And then what it ended up, secondly, when you really see, the integrity translates to the neighbors. So when it goes to the neighbors, what happens? The society. So we integrate with the society. It's not like, I don't know, whatever the neighbor does, that's not my problem. Oh, somebody is shouting, somebody is suffering, and you don't just close the curtains and turn off the lights and say, it's not my problem, it's not my worry. So that's how this society, it was society. And so when you're bothered about the society, when you want to help the society, what happens? There's always harmony. And when there is harmony existing in the family and in the society, that's what the harmony is and translates to the entire universe. So that's how it was. And also when you see in the physical world, ages and ages ago, our Bharat Varsha echoed the same thing by Vasudeva Kudumbam. Though today, like, Shri sisters, if you want to come to India, it takes hardly 16 hours from point A to point B. Am I right? And if you can take a direct flight, and then from Chennai, or from Cochin or from Bangalore, you can reach that point. But did our ancestors have that? But even though we were living very far off, they had a vision. And what it meant? They always found, they never thought, oh, this is a different part of the world, that doesn't bother me. But they all thought, we are the part of all the world. No, even though knowledge-wise we were different, country-wise we were different, the oneness was there. The oneness existed everywhere. This is because the coexistence was strong enough to break all the barriers of knowledge as well as the distance. So this is actually, when you see where this Vasudeva Kudumbam concept stands, is because of the pillars of Sanatana Dharma. That was what practiced in the
Ma'am, sorry again. It got muted again. Last 5 seconds.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry. I think it's very sensitive, I think, yeah. Anyway, the existence of peace and harmony was not something new to this great country, because the peace of this universe was very paramount, and all this is because we are all followers of Sanatana Dharma. And when Sanatana Dharma's main, the pillars for Vasudeva Kudumbam. So when you see, how do we start our prayer? We start it with the goodness and wellness of the entire universe. That is what Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavato means. So we want the entire universe to be happy. That's how we start. And then when we end our session, we go with Shanti Mantra. And so Shanti Mantra is peace to the world. So when you do this, like, it shows what a coexisting, what a peaceful, what a harmonious society we were and we are. Still, more than 80% of our country or throughout the world, I think when you talk to people from individual country, I have lived in America, I have lived in England, in Europe, and I have even lived in Saudi Arabia, which you think, when I went, I thought, what sort of a country am I going to? Because there is no rights for so many people there. Even everywhere you go and talk to an individual, you will realize everybody wants peace, harmony, and happiness. So this is the world. That's why our Sanatana Dharma told that long time ago, thousands of years ago. And when people want peace today, world says, yes, we want peace. The only formula our Bharat Varsha has, the knowledge and formula to it. So it will, when our Bharata, when you think this, our Bharata, how it was the base of knowledge. Lot of people give misled information in our country, saying, smart, we talk about, hello, can you hear me? Yeah, we talk about great universities, don't we? All the universities names when you give, they talk about in the Western Hemisphere. But do you know, like, we had great universities in India, and they were all during the Vedic periods, when in the West, people couldn't even lived like, I would say, like still in the forest, cladding the, they didn't know what civilization was. During that time, India had Takshashila, India had Nalanda, India had Kanchi, and you can tell innumerable great knowledge centers were there, and people came from all parts of the world to gain knowledge. We were the knowledge hub of this world. And so India was a great forerunner in knowledge. And also, when you take into trade, in Rig Veda, there is a term called Kri. Kri means purchase. And how was purchase is, you want to go and purchase? On those days, they didn't use dollars or pounds or rupees. You know what they used? They used only barter trade was there. And we know how people traded using the Silk Route. So in India, trade was greatly flourishing. And how can we forget about our great kings? Our great kings today in the southern part of India, we have a lot of the remains of how our culture was rich. That is, the remains are nothing but it is in our temples, the great history, the great art and architecture. Everything is in the temples, especially in Tanjore, Gangaikonda Cholapuram, and when you go to Madurai, these are all really iconic places. When people 1,000 years back, how much they had art, music, how much they enjoyed. When can a society enjoy all this? When only when you have everything in richness, everything is satisfied, can all art and history and beautiful architectural temples can be built. Only then the kings will think. And the other great thing, how can we forget our great Rajaraja Chola and Rajendra Chola, who literally took the culture and our rich art and history to entire Southeast of Asia. And today, we say the world's largest temple is our Angkor Wat. And who did that? Our Rajendra Chola during the Chola kingdom. And that's how much the Chola kingdom was extended. And did we, our kings, we never thought of going and acquiring or conquering. All we wanted to go and spread our goodness and our goodwill. So today we have excellent speakers who are going to talk about so many, about education, about trade, about so many other headings they have given. And I'm also eager. I gave a short briefness of what Vasudeva Kudumbam is, and I'm very happy to be part of this youth conclave, which is very essential for the current times. And also, it has to create a platform for younger generations to decipher, cherish, and propagate our richness and sustain our country despite several invasions and Western disturbances. You know, one thing, we are very unique in so many ways. How we dress, how we eat. I know wherever you go, wherever you live, do we leave our food habits? No, we love our idli when you're South Indian. And when you're from North, we love our chapatis, right? Rotis. And so on and so forth. So from Kashmir to Kanyakumari to the entire Akhanda Bharat, we are all one family, and to the entire universe, we all belong. And one thing to conclude, I would say, caring, sharing, and love towards all living beings is the culture of Sanatana Dharma. Dear friends, this was not written in one book. We have a library. Can you give it Sanatana Dharma one book? No, you cannot follow. Tomorrow, dear Shri sisters, you can come out with some concept. So it is ever evolving, ever evolving. There is no restriction. So it is such, when you talk about freedom of speech, freedom of thought, that is only in Sanatana Dharma. So I am very happy today to belong to the Sanatana Dharma. And I am very, very grateful to be born in this great Bharata. Thank you. Thank you, one and all. And I would love to listen to all your excellent thought-provoking speeches. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Vasiki ma'am. We can all give a round of applause for her. It was like we got a whole gist of library in just in a few minutes. Thank you so much. You spoke about women in history. Definitely, I agree. And also, you also said noble person with noble heart. The entire earth is a family. Definitely, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari around the world, we're all one family. Thank you so much. So
as you said, no matter where I go, idli and tenga chutney is number one.
So thank you so much. So we are coming to the main course of the event now. We have our keynote speaker in the Zoom meeting in the house. So Dharni would like to kickstart with the introduction.
So now we have Mr. Madhukar Adi. Madhukar Adi is an active social worker living in Houston, Texas with a wife and 2 children. He's originally from Hyderabad, India, and migrated to USA in 2001. So since childhood, he has been actively involved in community services and seva activity and volunteerism. He actively works with Dharma-based organizations in the USA in leading several volunteer activities. He's contributed to several seva activities to help recover from the hurricane disaster with food drives and other volunteer activities. We have personally met Madhukarji, and he's absolutely amazing, and I'm more than happy to welcome him to the virtual stage.
Over to Madhukarji.
Namaste to all. Namaste everyone. It's really nice to see you all, different participants coming from different backgrounds, different age groups. There are about close to 200 people participating actively on this session, and I think many more on the social media. In spite of different time zones and different parts of the world, we are still together here. I think that definitely reflects and reminds the fact that few minutes before, Dr. C.A. Vasuki Madam Ji has said that we are all one family. It reflects that, or it reminds that we are all together here, trying to know and learn from each other as a one big family. In our individual families also, right? If you look at the family members, they are not all same. Everybody is different, but there is peace, there is harmony, there is a progress. All this is happening because there is bhavna of togetherness. We are all binded together. That atmiyata exists. That is the reason that the bindness actually keeping cohesive, and progress happens, peace is there. Similarly, if you try to visualize Bhagwan Shiva and Parvati's picture, Shiva is there, Parvati is there, and we have two more, Ganesha and also Kartikeya. And that doesn't stop there, right? We also see few more things. We see snake in Shiva's neck. We see Chandrama on his jeta, on his head. We see lion. We see Nandi. If you look at all these, they are all different, composed of different nature, different opposite nature, in fact. But they are all happily, unitedly coexisting. Snake and Ganesha Vahana Mushika won't go together. Lion and Nandi won't to go together. Peacock and snake, same thing, they won't go together. But still there is equanimity, there is harmony. That is the act of togetherness. That is the act of being united. Outwardly also, in our physical, like in a physical world or in a physical level, we can say we are different. We all people are different. Color is different, age group is different, experiences are different. But this is mere cosmetic. In reality, all of us are connected to the innermost core of a being, that is a pure consciousness, Jivatma. That's what we call Jivatma, part of universal Atma, Paramatma. We are all manifestation, beautiful, colorful manifestation by the Paramatma. Therefore, we should not discriminate. We should not discriminate each other. That will create more divisions in the society. We have to respect every human being. Har manav ka maan karna chahiye. Everybody has to be respectfully, every soul has to be respected. We have to treat everyone with equality. Being just tolerant is not enough. We should go above and beyond tolerance. We should develop the vow of inclusiveness, the act of inclusiveness. I just want to quote one quote by Swami Vivekananda to the youth and to all. To be successful, take up an idea. Make that idea your life, your dream. Think of it, act on it every moment. Let every brain, every cell, every nerves, every parts of the body be full of that idea and leave the rest to the Bhagavan. Let's result to the God. So sky is the limit when it comes to the ideas. And today, our youth, if you look at it, they are seeking opportunities to work from anywhere and every challenge that society is encountering. Wherever there is a need, we are there. Wherever there is, a necessity, we are standing there. We are still participating irrespective of our geographical distances. We are taking up new ideas. We are doing seva activities. Locally, we are doing excellent seva activities. Being aware of the things that are affecting in the society, at the same time being vigilant, at the same time working towards a resolution, and this should continue to happen. COVID, for example, is a global crisis. Everybody is impacted, everybody is affected by this. And this is the time of the hour for the world to cooperate, coming together, more like a family, and deal with this with togetherness in order to come out of this pandemic. We are thinking globally, but acting locally to resolve this issue. This journey is not easy. It is difficult. Working with people is difficult, but it's not impossible. We should acquire lots of strength, physical strength, emotional strength, spiritual health, well-being, maybe thinking of changing some lifestyle changes, yoga, adopting to yoga, that will help us walk on this path with confidence and with a stable mind. But this is all at the individual level, at the personal level. At the societal level, we should also reach out to the like-minded people. Always strive to make friends with all good people, with an open mind, open heart. Try to reach out with an idea that nobody should be left behind. All the sufferings should not be left behind. We should be always with them. We have to be generous and embrace each and every one. It's not just applies to human beings. We are part of this nature. We are part of this beautiful creation. And that vow that has to come from our hearts. Every creation, everything that's part of this creation is us. We belong to us, and we are that creation. We are made diverse, but not separate. Colors may be different, age may be different. Some of them are aggressive, some of them are, Shanti Bhav, some of them are, beginners, some of them are experts, different qualities. But still we have to thrive to work together by becoming friends, maintain equality, caring each other with an essence of selfless service, with an essence of sacrifice, with an essence of detachment. We progress forward. Charaiveti and Charaiveti. That is going to be our mantra. The mantra is to continue the journey, but with a laser focused mind, with a stable mind, because that's very important. Harmony is very important. Being oneself in the one person, being ourselves to be in harmony, in a state of harmony, is very, very essential when connecting to multiple people, different people. So that affectionate, maintaining the dignity, all these virtues that I'm talking about has to be inculcated. It's not, reading books will not work. We have to practice it. These virtues has to be practiced. The act of being togetherness has to be practiced. The bhav of atmiyata has to be developed. The personal connection has to be practiced. That all these virtues will help us grow stronger and stronger towards the social integration. That is Sangatan. Social integration is Sangatan. When Sangatan happens, obviously we are all brothers. It leads us to universal brotherhood. With that universal brotherhood, we will achieve universal peace, Vishwa Shanti. That is possible only when we take that first step of developing these virtues and then connecting with the like-minded people, making friends, and work towards a social integration. Then only it is possible. But ultimately, we all will grow together into one great family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam only happens when the reach out happens to each and every person in the society. When that is ignited in every heart, in every soul, that we are all one, has to be ignited. Then Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, is the true meaning of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, will be reflected. And I really want to thank the organizers giving me the opportunity, but also bringing us together on this beautiful, weekend, for taking out personal time. A lot of people are here. Close to 200 people are attending this session. Right? I really want to thank them, and I'm feeling blessed, and I'm looking forward to hear what other distinguished leaders coming from different backgrounds I would like to hear during this next few hours journey. Namaste to all, and very happy to be part of this journey.
Thank you, Mr.
so
Madhukar.
much.
Thank you, Madhukar ji.
That was amazing.
Yes, definitely. And we would like to, share a personal experience.
As you said, the act of togetherness. I think Madhukar ji taught us about the act of togetherness when we were in Texas with a small game called the popcorn game.
Yeah.
And we learned how if every single person is involved, then only we could achieve the team goal.
Right. And now we teach the same thing to our dance kids, and we have grown. I think with the popcorn game. So thank you. You have a big contribution in our growth. Thank you, Madhukaradi ji. So thank you so much. So that was an amazing talk. And now for the even better part for today's event,
we have the panel. So this is the exciting part of the call. So everyone, let's get up. And so we have a bunch of speakers gathering up for a information packed panel. It's going to be a binge. We're going to have a binge of information. Okay. And so if you have any questions in the middle, please post it in the chat.
Yeah.
And
other just announcements, please keep yourselves muted and video on. That would be great. And also be aware, we're also live on Shri Sister YouTube channel, and we're also live telecasting in Beats Radio around the globe, so you can also connect over there. And also please stay till the end so that you receive the feedback form to eventually earn the certificate. So to move on, we have our first panelist speaker. And to introduce the first panelist, I would like to welcome Mrs. Vidya of Global International School to introduce this first panelist. Over to Mrs. Vidya.
Greetings to all. I find immense pleasure in introducing our Honorable Speaker, Mr. Arun Kumar, who is the President of CAP Digisoft Solutions, Global, Talam, and Joint. Most marketers think in terms of reaching hundreds or thousands of people with their messages, but for veteran marketing, Maven Arun Kumar, nothing short of reaching millions of people directly or indirectly will do. A native of Tamil Nadu, India, Arun is the president and founder of Frisco-based CAP Digisoft Solutions, a 300-plus employee pioneer in web and custom software development, knowledge or medical legal process outsourcing, and digital marketing. The firm, which was founded in 2007 and has 3 offices in India. Arun is the founder of YouTube and social media channel Thalam. It started with a vision to empowering entrepreneurship in Tamil language. Arun recently launched series of ventures including Joint, which is a group mobile chat app, SliceRun.com, a shared apartment marketplace, and Grocery.com, online grocery store. A John Maxwell certified speaker and coach, Arun is a certified marketing consultant by the e-Marketing Association and holds a digital marketing inbound certification from HubSpot. He earned an MBA and MCA both in India. Now I invite Mr. Arun Kumar to deliver his talk on secret sauces for relationship, interconnected and interdependent.
Hello. Hello, team. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm seeing a great energy here. Thank you for the organizers. Thank you for C Sisters. And I saw a wonderful introduction by our chief guest and also the principal chairman of the college. I'm here to, speak about the secret sauce of our relationship. What could be the secret sauce of our relationship? I want you all and we all to realize how dependent we are with our other human beings. How dependent are we? It's a general question. Many people, the teenagers, and I have been there, I think that, they are independent and, they are not dependent on anyone else. And I understand that is how the teenage people will think. I respect that. But the reality is we are 100% we are dependent on others. Even for this matter, someone have created this platform called Zoom, as someone have created this platform called YouTube, as someone have created the platform radio, and we all connected with that technology. So we are dependent on them. Remember what you did this morning, who cooked that food this morning. Remember what you had this afternoon, who cooked that lunch, so on and so forth. I can list hundreds of dependency as a human we are. I realized this very late in my life. When my wife is gone, I know that, man, I am dependent on her. I am expecting this, and I don't know where it is in my home. Likewise, when you look for your mom, when mom is not available in home, we will be searching many things in home, and we will realize we could not find. So we depend on mom so much. Likewise, human dependency is something we cannot avoid, and we have to live with it. For you to have a reliable dependency, relationship with other human being is vital for you to have a happy life. How you can maintain a relationship with others is the key. So today, I'm going to give a secret sauce how you can maintain a relationship and also establish a new relationship. And I've learned this from a strong networkers in America and also in India. I've seen many successful people. Number one thing, what they will do is like they will hear others. I mean like they hear from their heart. They will hear others what they are talking. That is what they do. They hear. Number one is they hear from their heart. And then they listen and they pay attention. Everyone speaks a different language. What I mean is, I'm not talking about the language we used to communicate, like Tamil, English, Hindi, Telugu, you name it. That is not what I'm talking about. In sales, there is a saying, you need to know to read between the lines. When Sri sister says, hey, this is what you have to do, that is a meaning between the lines. There is always a hidden. I'm just speaking their heads because they are very visible. But anyone, even if father speaks, your friend speaks, you should know to read between the lines. That is the number one skill set you have to develop. Understand why they are asking and what making them to ask. These things you need to understand. And number two, try to remember their name as much as possible. The very first word everyone likes is their name. The very first word everyone likes is their name. If you use their name to connect, they love it. They don't express it, but they love it inside. So they have a high respect for you when you do this. And the second one is maintaining the relationship. How you can maintain the relationship with your friends and families. That is a secret sauce there. If you want to maintain a relationship, number one is like use the number one formula, which I told you is listen. Then they will say, man, they are very, very great. They listen to everyone. We had a very good conversation. So listen. The second one is try to be in touch with them at least yearly once. Categorize your relationship into three, right? You are dependent, very dependent, extremely dependent. You should categorize any relationship with these three categories. Again, I will tell dependent, very dependent, extremely dependent. If they are extremely dependent, you better keep in touch with them probably weekly once, monthly once. Very dependent, at least quarterly once. Dependent, yearly once. Just you make a phone call and say, ask, how are you doing? How can I help you? These two questions will completely change their perspective on you, and it will reestablish the relationship. If someone calls me, Arun, how can I help you? I may need $1 million. Do you think I'm going to ask $1 million? No. I'm going to say, hey, I'm extremely doing good. Thanks for asking. I'm doing great. But what it gives is, it gives the confidence to your other person when you ask. This is such a secret formula many people are missing to do. Even when you drive a car, when you're sitting at home, when you call 3 people every day from your list, the dependent, very dependent, and extremely dependent. Anyway, extremely dependent, you are going to be in touch with them. But the dependent and very dependent, if you call them and ask them, how are you doing? How can I help you? You don't know what situation they are undergoing. That is a benefit is there. It is a two-sided sword. When you make a phone call and ask, what it is it is going to help them to come out of whatever the situation they are going. And for you, it's going to give you the energy. I'm telling you, if you speak to the very old friend, which you have not spoken for years, when you make a phone call that day is going to be a very powerful day for you. That is the power of human relationship. And I feel every day in my life. I want you to feel so. So this is a couple of requests I have. This day is all about we all as a human being is one family. And when you practice these requests, which I've requested to you, maintain a relationship in your phone. When you save your name, try to save the 3 things you like about, or 3 things how dependent you are with them. Take that extra few seconds to have that, to save that in your phone. That's going to completely change. So if you have a momentum, if you have a situation in your life, for example, you are hungry, to whom you can call. not obviously dad and mom. By default, that is what is going to happen. But beyond that, you have friends. When you make a phone call and talk to them, your angriness will come like crazily down, and happiness switch over to the crazily up. That is a secret formula I use always. If I'm tired, how do I get energy? The human voice and a relationship has the tons of energy you need in your life. When you do that, it's going to extremely change your life. And I'm sure, I don't want to give 100 steps, but when you follow these two things, it's going to change your life, I guarantee that's all I have to say today. I know the time I have limitations. So Sri Sisters, over to you. And I wish everyone a good luck, and all the speakers, thank you so much for your great contribution and the energy and the information you're going to give to this wonderful generation. I know 300 people are watching, and hopefully people walk out with this step and follow them. And that is going to completely change their life. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Madan Kumar, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that calm and informative speech. I felt like I took a sip of tea filled with knowledge. It's very relaxing and very informative. And as you said, I've experienced personally me calling up a friend after me getting mad at for something, and it immediately brings me down. So thank you so much for all the secret sauces for relationships.
Thank you so much. I feel it was mind blowing to just hear a gist. I think I heard a gist of a John Maxwell book. It's that powerful. Your speech was, so thank you so much. I love John Maxwell, and to hear from you, who's a trained coach. Thank you so much. And I would take the $1 million. I wouldn't say no to it. So with that, we'd like to move on to the next panelist. And to bring up the next panelist, I would like to welcome Dr. M. Vivek, Assistant Professor of Department of Mathematics from Kongunadu Arts and Science College, to introduce the next panelist. Okay. Sorry.
We
No, my mistake. Sorry, my bad.
So
okay.
Please, we skipped over a person. Please help me welcome Miss Vidya of Global International School to introduce the third panelist. Sorry, second. Yeah.
No, Dr. Mona Priya, the Professor of Department of Mathematics from Kongunadu Arts and Science College. Sorry, over to you, Dr. Mona Priya.
Thank you. I'm very happy and privileged to welcome today's guest, Dr. Sr Madan Shankar, is serving as Dean Academics, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Biotechnology, Kongunadu Arts and Science College, has about 20 years of academics and research experience. He graduated from Kongunadu Arts and Science College with University First Rank and Gold Medal, and postgraduate from Dr. GRD College of Science with University Rank. Thereafter, he completed his PhD from Institute of Forest Genetic and Tree Breeding, Coimbatore. He has published 2 books, 20 research articles in international journals and 9 in national journals, with a cumulative impact factor of 6.5 and Scopus index of 4. He has also authored 2 books and 1 book chapter. He has served as a member of Board of Studies in several autonomous colleges. He is a campus ambassador of United States India Education Foundation. He has coordinated several project works. Notable among them are 2 industry-sponsored projects. He has been sanctioned with the project of Impress ICSSR to tune of 11 lakh for disseminating the knowledge, attitude, practice among tribal women of Nilgiri district with reference to PCOS. He is a consultant for several quality initiatives at higher education institutions. He is a recipient of Fellow Award in Forest Biotechnology from Society of Biotechnology and has been honored with the prestigious PSG Teacher of the Year Award in 2016 and Best Senior Faculty of Biotechnology by Novel Research Academy Pondicherry in 2019. He has served as resource person in several national and international conferences and seminars. He has visited Mauritius, Sri Lanka, and Israel on official assignment and obtained a travel grant from UGC and CICS for the same. His current areas of interest include healthcare biotechnology, development of weedicides from allelochemicals from tree species.
It's enough.
So with that, we would like to welcome Dr. Sr Madan Shankar to the virtual stage. Over to you. Dr. Madan Shankar, is Dr. Madan Shankar here?
He should be there, but he maybe didn't unmute.
Okay. No, I don't. Okay, I think there was a connectivity issue. So what we'll do is we'll move on to the next panelist, and then we'll come back. I think he has something big for us, so we need to wait. So next, I would like to bring up Dr. M. Vivek, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics from Konganadu Arts and Science College, to introduce our next panelist, Sri Harsha Narayan. Over to you, Dr. M. Vivek.
You have to unmute him. Okay, I'll unmute him.
Is he speaking?
Actually, Dr. Madan Shankar sir is here. If you permit, he can talk from my end.
Oh yeah, sure. That
okay.
works.
Yeah, he will speak now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, there was some issue with my connection over there. Am I audible now? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. What I'll be talking in a few moments, to about 10 to 15 minutes from now, is how do we rethink the education system that's currently being practiced at the global level in line of Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. So what we will speak about is to see how the Indo-centric education is going to make the world a superpower in terms of knowledge, and what kind of contribution can Bharata give to make this world a global superpower. Now, as you all know, progress in global education is the need of the
hour.
Sir, you're muted. Could you please unmute? Just for the past 5 seconds.
He's not muted. His audio
isn't connecting.
So could you, we cannot hear you. No, we cannot hear
you. You have some audio problem.
I think there's some audio problem. Maybe we can.
You can use other device. Now unmute.
No. Please, his connectivity is okay. I think he has unmuted.
So
Vivek, right?
Yeah, Vivek. Yeah, but we cannot hear him.
Yes, and
he's unmuted. We cannot hear him.
Yeah, he is unmuted.
Okay.
No, sir, we still can't hear you.
So, Madan, sir, can you, is it possible to connect from another device while we move on to the next speaker? We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you. Sorry, sir.
Sir, could you try texting it in the chat, please? And then we will.
No, sir is unmute. Sir, unmute pannunga. Hello, Madan sir, can you please unmute yourself?
Unmute panalo
he's
now he's muted. Okay, now okay.
No, we cannot hear him even if he's unmuted. So what we will do is we would like to request Madan sir to join from another device. In the meanwhile, since the time constraint, we would like to move on to the next panelist. We'll come back. Again, we had to wait for his because there's something big he wants to tell us. So I think that's why we have a small delay. But we'll move on to the next panelist. So as I said, we have we have Sri Harsha Narayanan. So Sri and Dr. Vivek is introducing, but then
Dr. Vivek has an issue.
Okay, so Sri Harsha Narayanan is in the call. Thank you. And he's serving as the National Secretary of ABVP, the largest student organization in India since 2020. He served in various capacities such as Karnataka State Secretary of ABVP and City Secretary Bangalore. Harsha Narayanan completed his LLB from Sri Bhagavan Mahavi Jain College. He is presently pursuing PG Diploma in Human Resource. He is involved in social and national activities since his college days. He was elected by Government of India Youth Ministry to represent India in BRICS Youth Conclave held in Beijing, China in 2017. And he's actively contributed to the draft policy of BRICS Youth Summit. And he is a noted youth leader in India. And we are proud and happy to welcome Sri Harsha Narayan to the virtual state. Over to you. Please unmute yourself. Sorry.
Yeah, they can do. He can do now. Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. Namaste, one and all present in this Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam web conference. So during the welcome address by Vasuki Madam, she just quoted Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. So when I just heard about Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, I felt that Madam did not by heart this because she is coming to a webinar which is about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I feel that each and every family in India, each and every houses, villages of India, they know this Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. It is because it is not something that is invented in this past 10, 20 years or 100 years. Nor is it something that is a new innovation that the youths of India or whatever the people have made. It is something that our grandfathers and great grandfathers has given us, and we don't know what time or what date it has been given to us. So the DNA, the genes of India very clearly says that the Indian people are somebody who are open to accept everything. The quote in the Vedas which says that Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahuda Vadanti, truth is one, but there are diverse ways, is something what Bharata, the Bharatiya people always believed in. So therefore, it is not something a Greek or a Latin or something that someone has to learn who are a part of the Indian Bhumi, who are a part of this DNA. It is something that has come inside our roots. So my interpretation of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, firstly for the first 2 minutes, let me just tell that as our Madhukarji quoted, what Indian Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, it does not only denote to the human beings, but what Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam means, according to my interpretation of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Prakriti Pujaka Samskriti Bharatiya Paddhati. The culture of praising and praying the environment is something that is inside the culture of India. So we are very proud to belong to such a wonderful culture. We see a tree, we worship the tree, we pray to the tree, and we say that tree is also a kind of a human being, and we want that tree to be happy, and therefore we do many things. My grandmother in the village, she goes to the entrance of the village, there is a stone, and she calls that Amma, goddess, and she prays that stone. That is the kind of relationship that an Indian, that the ancient India has taught us. So in each and everything, in sand we see India, in water we see India. We say Gange, Yamune, Chaiva, Godavari, Saraswati, Narmada, Sindhu, Kaveri, Jalesmin, Sannidhim, Kuru. We have a prayer for that. We pray the water, Mother Water. We pray Mother Water. We see India as Mother. India is not considered as a place where it is covered with thousands of kilometers of water boundary and this much of land boundary. But what is India according to Indian is, India is a Mata. In Vande Mataram, Bankima Chandra Chatterjee, he relates India to Durga. So that is the kind of relationship, that is the kind of thought, that is the kind of genes that the Indian people have inside them, that is enrooted inside us. So what is this youth leadership and world peace and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, how is it interrelated according to my interpretation of youth leadership? So leadership is something to lead, to show the way. So when we talk of leadership, we have a mutual, we get a thought that leadership is something which is related to politics. That is a political leadership. But in several countries of the world, there is lots of political leadership and very less of such kind of leadership what India has always till today, which India has showed. So what is that kind of leadership which India has showed, which is not there in other countries? There was a person in a village of Kerala, who thought that he has to detach from everything and he has to work for the Adhyatma. He was somebody who had a knowledge in his 8 to 9 years. He wanted to sacrifice many things and he wanted to go across the country. He wanted to preach the people, teach the people, enlighten the people, bring in light to the country. And that is Shankaracharya who led in the paths of Adhyatma. And that is the kind of leadership Shankaracharya and the next generations and such kind of sannyasis has showed in this Indian, bhumi. A 30-year-old person goes to some other country, a Western land. He stands, he sits on the dais. People, see him and they feel so awkward looking at him. He has been dressed up like that. But later on, after his speech, when he started to tell sisters and brothers of America, the kind of leadership that person, Swami Vivekananda, before the 150 years, who showed the whole world, what is the kind of leadership that he has showed the whole world? That is the kind of leadership that Indian people have showed the world. The Bhaskaracharya, Aryabhatta, Chanakya, Charaka, Sushruta, Patanjali, they are all leaders in their own field. The yoga has been accepted by 100 and something nations. That is, the leadership has been given by Patanjali, and today the whole world accepts that leadership. That is the kind of leadership India has shown. Today, Ayurveda is being accepted because of Charaka. Without the Charaka Samhita, we wouldn't have got this Ayurveda. That is the kind of leadership Charaka, that has come out from the Indian land. Today, we see that the Chanakya Niti, that is the Niti, even the US, the Russia, the other countries, everybody follow the Chanakya Niti. That is a kind of, mind knowledge, the leadership he has given. If he had taken the Niti to himself and not preached the world, it wouldn't have been possible. That is the kind of leadership that the Chanakya had shown to the world. It is not only the leadership that was before thousands of years that has been recorded in the text. When we see the 1857 Indian independence movement and later on the 1947 Indian independence movement, beginning from Mangal Pandey to Bhagat Singh to Sukhdev to Rajguru to Chandrasekhar Azad, lots of people, lots of youngsters, the 20, 25, 30-year-old youngsters, they came out of their houses not to become the Prime Minister or President of India, but they wanted to show the leadership to protect the motherland. That is the kind of leadership what India had always shown. Even today, lots of MNC companies are headed by the Indian people. That is a kind of leadership India has shown. They didn't stick on to a particular land because of the thought Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Today we see such kind of unity in diversity. Not any other country in the world has shown such kind of unity in diversity. We have hundreds of languages, very different languages. 100 kilometer language keeps on changing. Hundreds of languages are there in this in the Indian country. We have thousands of castes. But when we see the past COVID situation, irrespective of caste, creed, region, and religion, the younger generation of India, came out of the houses to give, to feed the needy people. That is the kind of leadership that the, Indian generation shows. That is called Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavanto, and nobody has to teach them about that. No Prime Minister has to give a call on that. There is not a necessary or need to pass an ordinance, to understand this. That is the kind of leadership that comes out of the Indian youths. It is all because of the knowledge or the the parampara that we have come from. That is all enrooted inside it. The Bharata, the Sattva, Antas Sattva and Tattva, it is all inside us and that has to come out. And that is what is expected, I think, from this Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, young leadership and world peace. So how is it that when the Indian youngsters lead in different verticals or different paths, how is it possible to get the world peace? How is it possible? So when a Indian understands that from where he has come from, when today there are many issues because people have put boundaries within themselves. People, states, and countries have put boundaries within themselves, and therefore there are many problems arising. But we don't believe in the boundary concept. But today's current situation and all these things, we have to follow certain protocols, and that is why there is a democracy, there is a republic, there is a government, and everything is going on. But what is India basically? There was thousands of years of innovations, and India didn't go and invade anybody. We just said Atiti Devo Bhava. We just showed them love. We just showed them affection. It is not that they didn't understand the concept of India. That is what the leadership the Indian youngsters have to take. It is a need and necessary to preach that Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara is the main course that everybody has to learn. A youngster has to learn. Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atiti Devo Bhava. It is not that only a certain part of Indian people have to learn this and preach this. It is something that the whole world has to learn. And thereby it leads to a very prosperous and peaceful and harmonic society. To get a prosperous society, to gain peace in our society, in our surroundings, there is a need and necessary to inculcate the Indian culture, the Indian ideas among the youngsters, among the people. So we are not stuck in a boundary. There is no such necessity that only in Bangalore or Chennai or Kolkata or Hyderabad this has to be preached. It is a need and necessary that we have to preach it everywhere. Everybody has to understand everything. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. People has to understand that we are all one. We all need to be one. We all need to be happy. We all need to help each other. That is what our Vedas, our Upanishad, our Mahabharata, everything has quoted. Karmanye Vadikaraste Mapaleshu Kadachana says that you do whatever has to be done. Fruit, it is left to the Paramatma. That has to be taught to the younger generation of the world. Thereby teaching the Indian ideas, value system, thoughts leads to a very happy, prosperous, peaceful society. Thereby taking forward to world peace. And I feel today's session should not just be a 1 or 2 hour webinar, but from today's session, we all need to take a promise within ourselves, telling that we need to be the ambassadors of preaching the Indian thoughts, preaching the Indian culture, preaching the Indian ideas. It is not reserved to a community or a religion. Indian idea is accepting everything, wish everything should be fine, everybody should be happy. That is the idea of India, and this idea of India has to be promoted. When people have accepted yoga, when people have accepted Ayurveda, when people across the world say Swami Vivekananda is somebody who is in the first place in the entire globe, then why won't they accept the thoughts of India? That has to be told, and the telling thing can happen only by the younger generation. India is the country of youngsters. Swami Vivekananda rightly believed in youngsters. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam also believed in youngsters. And the whole younger generation of India are the reason of many changes. I can just quote an example and finish my words. When Anna Hazare told there need to be a change, we have to fight against corruption. It was the younger generation of India who came out of the colleges, who came out of the houses and stood there, and they fought against corruption, and thereby there was a very big change in India. That is the power of Indian youth, and that is why there is a need and necessity that we need to understand the thoughts of India. We need to understand what is Sanatana Dharma, what our great grandfathers have left behind, from which DNA we belong, from which genes we belong, what is the power of us, which parampara we belong to. That is something we need to understand, and we have to become the ambassadors in preaching all these things. So therefore, my request to you all is, in this Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, I think Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is something that we need to get into and understand, and thereby youths have to lead the community in different verticals based upon the Indian thoughts and value systems, and thereby finally reaching, the path of world peace. And when all this becomes, I think Bharata will become the Vishwaguru. The Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, others, several organizations in the country have been working in this direction. I can tell you, I being a young youth, before 10 years, I started my journey in this Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, a student organization. When I stepped inside the college, I was somebody without knowing anything. I just knew I have to study accountancy, I have to study business studies, I have to study ABCD, etc. But after I joined such an organization, I got to know, I thought of this. I could only tell you all this because I have been thought of all these things. I have been told that Indian value system, I have to preach the Indian value system, and thereby, that is how, we can see India as Vishwaguru. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam doesn't go to veins. If we practice, everything comes to, the paths get opened, and there would be enlightenment. And we are the problem solvers of several problems in the world. And that is what the actual Indian youths, the younger generation, have to look into and lead. So therefore, I would end my talk saying that we all need to understand the power of India. So once again, I thank all the organizers, my friend, especially my friend Santosh, for giving me an opportunity to address this such a gathering. Once again, I tell everybody, Sarve Bhavantu Sukinaha, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Paschyantu, Ma Kasti Dukkha Bhavet. Dhanyavad. Namaste.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you, Harsha, for an amazing talk. And truly, we are proud to be called youth of India, youth of the world, because just hearing from you. And I liked how you said, we need to serve the needed, and no one needs to tell the youth because we're already doing that. And culture of praising and praying the environment. That was lovely. Thank you so much. And we are ready to move on to the next panelist.
So now we're gonna bring back Dr. Sr Madan Kumar, Madan Shankar, sorry. And so another brief description about him is that he's the Dean of Academics in Kongu Nadu Arts and Science College, and he was talking about the global knowledge superpower. So over to you, Dr. Madan Shankar.
Thank you. I hope I'm audible now.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
I'm sorry for a small technical glitch. I was talking about rethinking the role of Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam to an Indo-centric education is what is currently required to solve several issues which the world is facing now. Whether you take it, the issues pertaining to peace, issues pertaining to so many other aspects, if you give or if you are able to see a progress in global education, I'm not talking about the education of the country alone, but in a global perspective, if the global education is taken care of, you will have a sustained double-digit growth rate with an with a decreased rate of poverty, and the stakeholders will be able to respond to the changes in the technology as well as the demographies, which are actually shaping the whole world today. Particularly, when you talk about the today's generation, which we call them as Generation Alpha, we still do not have the jobs that are set in for them. There are a lot of things which are to be done to make them empowered, to make them have a better skill set, so that they will be able to face the world with a much better focus and with a degree of sustenance. And that is the whole concept of Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. And our Pradhan Mantri Shri Narendra Modi ji, when he launched the National Education Policy 2020, he made a mention about the 21st century skill sets. And predominant among the 21st century skill sets include biotechnology, genomics, coding, decoding, artificial intelligence, so on and so forth. And at this point, I would say this concept of artificial intelligence and machine learning, it has actually brought down the shelf life of all the skills that are currently available. So you need to think of reskilling and upskilling, not just the population of one country, but the population of the entire universe. And that is what is Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, all about education. As you know, India has signed agreements with at least 51 countries, notable among them being Australia, UK, USA, Israel, France, and the European Union, for MOUs and also for exchange programs in teaching, learning, and research, and also to establish model centers of excellence and also several other skill training centers as well. But at the grassroots level, when you see the primary and the secondary education, school education, there is not much of cooperation that has happened between India and the rest of the world. When you see the Vedic education, so the relevance of the India's or the Bharat ancient thinking and the ancient philosophies to the contemporary strategic reality is Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, according to me, for education. Now, when our Prime Minister was addressing the World Economic Forum in 2018, he made this concept of Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, and he stressed that our country leads a nature blended living, whether it is arts or culture or education. Everything was spiritual and everything had spirituality in it. So this touch of spirituality is very important. And globally, if you see, if any country has to approach the rest of the world or rest of the other countries, there are two aspects which are pertinent. One is civilization, and second one is the philosophical heritage. When you see these two aspects of civilization as well as philosophical heritage, our country Bharata is number one. When you see the Vishnu Sahasranamam, it says Veda Shastrani Vijnanam Metas Sarvam Janartana, which means all arts, forms, science, everything is inclusive into Lord Narayana, which is a supreme being. And the purpose of education is only two. One is Jivan Mukti, which is nothing but embodied liberation, and Brahmastruti, which means to attain the state of Brahman. So anybody who is educated is a Brahman. Now, Nelson Mandela, he made a statement that education is the most popular weapon which you can use to change the whole world. And, you know, in 2015, the Sustainable Development Goals was put forth by the United Nations. And the priority or the preamble of the SDG 4 is to ensure an inclusive and equitable education and promote lifelong learning opportunity by the year 2030. And this has also been envisaged in the National Education Policy 2020. So the three pillars or the three angles of this golden triangle is the government, the teachers, and the parents and the students put together to gain or to bring forth a sustainable quality global education. And to attain the sustainable quality global education, you need certain skill sets. And priority among them, there are also other factors which are required to be considered. One is that there should be a concept of learning for all, or you must create a platform where you have learning for all, which means that there are certain basic skill sets which are required across any country, whether it is India or whether it is USA or Australia or whatever. These basic skill sets or the basic life skill sets have to be unified through a common structured curriculum is number one. The second one is that we need a very robust, dynamic, and accommodative policy to envisage this implementation of this unified curriculum across every country. Third one is also the role of teachers, particularly the professors and also the primary and the secondary education teachers are very important. Then internationalization of education, where we bring in a lot of concepts of the West, yet retain several concepts of the East and also our own country is very important. At this point, I would say during this COVID-19 pandemic, the online education system has actually transformed the entire perception of how education can go. And you must understand that by 2021, at least $1.96 billion will be actually spent on automation and also on creating platforms for online education. And already India has been spending about 14% for online education, and it's actually in the global forefront. Now, education is actually an experience where a person who is able to be into the education will think, will feel, and act. This is where exactly the Vedic system of education stands as a staunch pillar to provide a value-based and also a very, very structured education to the stakeholders. Now, in the narrowest sense, we can call education as a formal process where the society deliberately passes on accumulated knowledge, practices, customs, etc., and values from one generation to another. When you talk about the indigenous system of education, that is our Gurukula system, we have concepts of reskilling and upskilling. Now, today, the IBM has mentioned that 120 million workforce, which are currently in several jobs, need to be reskilled in another 3 to 4 years of time because of automation and because of artificial intelligence and machine learning. So you need to strategize certain aspects of how you can provide a holistic education such that our country becomes a knowledge superpower or a global hub, and will be very similar to what the Silicon Valley is doing for the IT sector. And I would also talk about how the education was present in the Vedic period. When you see in the Vedic period, there was also curriculum, there was also pedagogy, which was seen in very strictly in the Vedic period. So in the Vedic period, the curriculum comprised of the 4 Vedas, the 6 Vedangas, and also the Upanishads. So these were the preliminary things. And when you see the Vedas, Vedangas, and Upanishads, they are not, we take them to be more religious and we take them to be more spiritual, but then they are full of virtues and full of values, and there is deep-rooted science in them. And the Vedangas talks about the grammar, talks about the metrics, the phonetics, the astronomy, so on and so forth. There are also Tarka Shastras. Tarka Shastra is what your logical thinking or logical reasoning that we do today, or the aptitude thing that we do today. And to complete one of these curriculum, that is Vedas or Vedang. In Vedas, there are 4 Vedas, the Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva Veda. To complete one Veda, it will take about 12 years of time. And a student enters into school education, which is called as Vidyaramba at the age of 5. And he has an Upanayana at the age of 8. Today, Upanayana is made very Brahminical. In the Rig Veda or in the Vedic period, Upanayana was not Brahminical, except the 4th Varna. All the 3 Varnas had Upanayana. And once they have Upanayana, they start getting into the Gurukula system, where there is no fee, there is no hard-earned rules and regulations, but then there is a physical labor that happens at the Gurukula system also, where the student not only learns the Vedas, Vedangas, or Upanishads, but also he learns the other life skills, which is called as a 64 art forms. And these art forms include forms like jewel making, music, dance, sculpture, agri, medicine, so on and so forth. And in the recently rolled out national education policy, all these skill sets have found their way into the national education policy in the form of vocationalization of education. And when you see the pedagogy, You had Shravana, Manana, and Nidhyashrama. When you see Shravana, Manana is nothing but oral recitation, introspection, storytelling, debate, etc. were also there. And India housed greatest universities like Nalanda. You know, Nalanda was very, very famous for logic. Nalanda was one of the uh, sought after universities for social science, mathematics, astronomy, and you'll be bewildered to understand that several thousands of students every year apply to the Nalanda University, and only two or three out of 10 of them will get an admission at the Nalanda University, which also had about 1,500 teachers with at least 100 dissertations going on per day. Similarly, Takshashila was very famous for medical education. Vallabi was Vallabi was the university for the Western India, very similar to Nalanda. You also had Vikramashila, Kanchi, etc. So these were our glorious past where we were knowledge providers to the whole of the universe. Now, I would talk about Jnana and Vijnana, that is theory and practical. These two components of theory and practical, called as Jnana and Vijnana, were the two pillars of our education system. And for a country to become a global superpower for knowledge, you need Jnana, which is theory, and also you need Vijnana. There is a small verse in Bhagavad Gita which says, Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitra Muda Itta Uttamam Pratyajnam Vagamam Dharmam Susukam Karutum Avyayam, which means this knowledge is key of education, most secrets of all secrets, give direct perception by self-realization, pure, religious, everlasting, and joyfully performed. And you know, in 1997, UNESCO rolled out a policy called Learning to Do, Know, and Practice. And today, our mode of education is like more of covering the syllabus rather than uncovering the syllabus. So I feel that in order to become, or if a country has to become a global superpower, there are three things which are essential. One is we'll have to revisit and look back into our Vedic system of education, take all the important things that was present in the Vedic system, blend it with the current technology, blend them with the current knowledge. And the second one is that you need to have components of unified curriculum, unified certain skill sets which are present across the globe. And third one, you need to have a well-defined and a robust policy which considers all the stakeholders such that by the year 2030, we are able to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal 4, which promises inclusivity and equitable education to all. And at this juncture, I thank all of you for giving me an opportunity to share some insights about how we can become a global superpower in education. Thank you and namaste.
Thank you so much, Dr. Madan Shankar. I know we had some glitches, but I think we had some sign that we needed to wait a little more to hear the best from you. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate your time and effort towards delivering this informative speech. We learned that education is the most important, powerful tool, weapon. Thank you, definitely. And you've also set the goal of bringing a sustainable global education to be inclusive and bringing everyone closer. So thank you so much for that. And then we'll move on to our next panelist. So now we're going to go again from India all the way to the US. So the next panelist is the speaker is Mrs. Sander. She's originated from Myanmar, also known as Burma. We all know that. And she has pursued her Bachelor of Electronic from Yangon Technology University in Myanmar. And she has also done her Master of Mechatronics from Asian Institute of Technology in Thailand. After earning the degrees, she worked in as an automation engineer in Singapore first 2 years in chartered semiconductor and next 2 years in global foundries. Later on, she migrated to United States and continuing her career in global foundries for more than 8 years. And she has a wonderful family and a cute son. He's very naughty and she's a young mother. and pursuing a great career. So I would like to bring up Sander to speak about women in engineering and talking, delivering a speech and understanding how women plays a role in the world in one family goal. So over to you, Sander.
Thank you, Sri. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sandarjo. As Sri mentioned, I'm originally from Myanmar, also known as Burma. I'm now living in upstate New York. It is really an honor to be a part of this webinar. Thank you, Selva, Sri Sisters, for inviting me. Thank you, committee members, for all your time and effort put into this event. And thank you all the speakers to participate in this webinar. First thing I want to tell young adults is that you are going to be leaders one day. You'll become the savior of the world. And all you need to do is to prepare and be ready for the big moment. If you notice right now, you are participating in this webinar and you are preparing for your journey. I saw the agendas and there are many speakers from many different areas, and they will feed their lifelong experience to you all. It will be really worth listening to. Today, I have to talk about technology. But before we go there, I want you to ask yourself, what do you want to become? You will notice yourself, you are good at something. Ask yourself which area you enjoy working on. I declare that I'm not good at geometry, history, and economics, but I passed those exams in high school. But I had higher marks at English, math, and science, except chemistry. I was meant to be a doctor according to my parents. That was their goal and dream for me. Luckily, I was short of 7 points to get into the medical university. I was so lucky that I didn't become something I don't want to. I don't blame my parents for trying to set their goal as my goal. Imagine 6-year-old kid trying to hide under the table from remote learning. Nowadays, we have to do remote learning. Everything is virtual. As a parent, I have to make sure the kid has the proper education. So I have to bring him back to the laptop to do the remote learning. That is his goal. His goal is to get the proper education. So trying to imagine yourself 10 years from now, and what do you want to be? The reason I'm telling you all this is I've seen many people studying something they don't like, and they switch their path to something else, which is really a waste of time, energy, and money. Please make sure you like something and you are going to that way. Earlier, I encouraged you to listen to all the area, all the field, all the information you can get to expose to those areas. Every topic that you heard and learned will feed you information, regardless of which field you want to go. Imagine you are a CEO of a biochemist industry, and you have a capability to do research on a vaccination. With the current outbreak of COVID-19 virus, what can you help the world? You can change all your studies to study COVID-19 virus, and you can come up with a vaccine. That's the thing I want to tell you. You need to catch up with the news, what is going on in the world, and you can help with them. To make the right decision, you need the right information. To get the right information, you need the ability to differentiate right and wrong. Mistake, we can do all mistake. Humans are error. But it is very important, and it's very brave to admit the mistake and make things right. It is not good to prioritize our egos over our mistakes. So talking about information, we can get information from many areas, news, books, websites. And if we talk about news, not all media will tell you everything. They will hide what they don't want you to see, and they will show you what they want you to believe. Who knows? You may be able to see behind the scene of the news I met people who are not looking over the whole picture, and they blindly believe what they are told to believe. It is really hard to convince them to get back onto the right track. Because if you believe something, it's very hard to change. So try to make sure the information you have is reliable or trustworthy. Regardless of age, education, and experience, anyone can fall for the scam or fraud. A few months back, I was a victim of a fraud website. Everyone knows that we are in the middle of the pandemic. And what happened was I ran out of disinfectant at home. So I looked for it over the websites and I found a website selling those cleaning supplies. So I ordered some of them, but they never came to me. So how can you help the victims like me in this situation? You can be the cyber police and you can catch those bad guys and put them into jail. Luckily, I took cautious and I used a third-party website before I made the payment. So I can claim my money back from the third-party website. I lose some money, somebody scam me, but for a young adult, there are many things to lose. They are not targeting only for money. They are targeting different stuff. So you have to be very cautious and you need to think of how to help those people who are victims of this crime. We all know that there are many people who are not nice, but there are many people who are nice. So information, the right information will tell you what is going on in the world right now, what happened in the past, what will happen in the future. It is really amazing that some historians can predict who will win the election if there is no cheating involvement. And there are people who can predict the stock markets. And believe me, they are rich. Not many people understand hormones. For example, a pregnant woman during pregnancy or after delivering a baby, a woman's hormones are chaos, a bit unbalanced. They call it hormonals. Some people don't know what is going on with them. And there are a lot of divorces. And they thought it is personal. But some of the cases are because of hormones. I try to think why these hormonal things going on. And I remember the incident happened when I was 10 years old. I was chased by mama dog when I tried to touch her puppies. Luckily, I didn't get caught by that dog. Otherwise, I had to take the rabies vaccination. Mother dog needs special hormone to protect her kids. Without adrenaline kicking in, I cannot escape. What kind of hormones do you think I need to deliver this speech? With adrenaline. Without adrenaline, I cannot give the speech like this. At the very beginning, adrenaline was my scary movie. I cannot control it very well. It is controlling me. So I try to eliminate my adrenaline. I try to control it. I want to know how to control this. So I joined Toastmaster International to improve my public speaking. And the mentor I met in Toastmaster Club, her name is Anna, she said, Sandar, you need adrenaline, not to get bored and fall asleep, to keep things going on, to make good decisions, think clear and sharp, problem solving, delivering things without mistake. Now that I train myself and try to stay with it, live with it, and I can make good use of adrenaline. As we speak, science and technology tries to cover most of the areas in the world. Ventilators for critical COVID patients, how to scan, how to detect the issue in our body. Even we are going to get internet in Mars. Isn't it amazing? There are personal appliances to detect heart rate with smart watch. Some of them can detect your heart rhythm also. And for diabetes patient, we can implant a chip under the patient's skin to produce required amount of insulin whenever they need it. I heard someone from a friend of friends is using the watch to detect the resting heart rate. And what happened was he realized his resting heart rate is going up compared to the last few months. And he discussed this with his doctors. And he found out he had a thyroid issue. So we can detect things ahead of time using the technology, using the science. Social media advertisement will influence everybody with the background artificial intelligence, which is a good thing and also the bad thing. Depends on what they want to influence you. So please be careful. What is the good for you? What is bad for you? You need to differentiate them. Can we get rid of pesticides from our vegetables, fruits, antibiotics and hormones from our milk and meat? Can we detect them with probe? How do we control all these? There are many areas to tap into: climate change, flood, weather, hurricane, wildfire, disaster, and outbreak. How can we help with technology? How can we help the world and the people? Being women in engineering is not really easy. In the history, women did not work. Now they are taking men's job. There's some gender discrimination going on everywhere. At first, I thought this existed only in the Asia, but I saw it everywhere as I stayed in many countries, even in the United States. The obvious example I want to tell you is some guys did not vote Hillary Clinton in 2016 US election because they do not want to have women president. I think that's gender discrimination. The third world country where I come from, we don't have not a lot of laws to protect gender discrimination at workplace. And I saw they are trying to protect women nowadays by setting some law in place. How do we change the mindset of people? It's not easy. However, we need to go through all this. We cannot escape from this. We cannot avoid it. First thing we need to know is what gender discrimination is and what is not. I'm glad that nowadays people are having awareness and try to avoid this kind of discrimination. Everyone has to participate. We should participate in that. For our mothers, sisters, daughters, granddaughters. As a conclusion, my message to you, young adults, future leaders, future saviors of the world, is to be prepared and be ready, starting from now, for the future. Please set the right goal, right path, and to be the person who will make everyone proud of. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you, Sander, for that. And true, women need to stand up. Yes, it is inevitable, the discrimination, but still you need to rise above it. So thank you for that. And you have something to say too.
Yeah, I loved a lot of things you said. The way, well, when you said not good to prioritize our egos over our mistakes, that's a beautiful statement and something I will personally work on. And as you said, as teenagers, we have so much information thrown onto us.
Not just teenagers,
everyone with social media, technology, and we need to seek for the reliable information. We can't trust everything, and we need to look for what's true. And another thing is that I'm going to steal one of your lines. The fact that Adrenal was a scary movie, was like a rush for you. I'm going to steal it from my college essay as a hook line. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for that. So thank you. Now with that, we'll move on to the next panelist speaker. And so
okay, so I would like to bring up Dr. Mohana Priya, Professor, Department of Mathematics from Kongu Nadu Arts and Science College, to introduce our next panelist.
So over to you, Dr. Priya.
Thank you. I'm profusely overjoyed to take this opportunity to introduce one of our guests of the day is S.G. Surya. He is a lawyer and company secretary by profession, writer by passion, and a politician by destiny. He is a young voice from Tamil Nadu who has dedicated himself to be in the service of the nation. He is currently serves as the spokesperson of PJP Tamil Nadu and served as a vice president of Bharatiya Janata Youth Wing Tamil Nadu. He has been in public life for more than a decade. He was inspired and influenced by the national spirit and vision of Rashtriya Swayam Seva Sangh and become a Swayam Seva since school. An alumnus of ILS Pune, he is also an international arbitrator and a member of prestigious Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, UK. He is also the managing trustee of Sixth Sense Foundation, a non-profit working in education space. He is the founding director of Tamilagam Research Foundation. Now I request our chief guest to deliver his speech. Sir, please.
Good evening, everyone. I think it's good evening in India, and I see so many participants are from India. So first of all, I would like to thank and congratulate She Sisters, Mr. Selvaraj, Santosh, and everyone for organizing this wonderful program. And I think we have participants from all over the globe, actually matching with different time zones, and having a student leader myself who organize various programs, I understand how difficult it is. And apart from physical programs, organizing these kinds of programs are even more difficult to follow up, to join, to check the sound system, to check the internet connectivity, etc. I understand it is a tedious process. And I firstly congratulate everyone. And a couple of good speakers made very good points in this program. Harsh Narayan from ABP and Sander. In fact, they precisely spoke I had in mind. So coming to the topic, because I'm told that we are nearing the end of the program and I have probably 8 to 10 minutes to speak. So to talk about youth and politics, so when I restrict myself only to India, see, it is very amusing that close to 65 percentage of the 133 crore population is below 35 years of age in India. So India is the most youthful country in the world. So you take China, Japan, and other countries, the aging population is more compared to the young population. So that is why we always say India will become a global power in the next decade. That is because of the population demographic advantage that the country has. So when we talk about politics, youngsters getting into politics is actually still a conservative thing in India. So when I was part of Indian government's delegation to two different countries, one is Israel and the another is South Korea, I could see I could see the youngsters getting into politics in a more organized manner. So probably because of very less population and very good control over things, these countries, they were able to better engage youngsters into politics. But in a country like India, which is very huge, and which is still battling the dynastic political parties and the dynastic succession in politics, it is really challenging for youngsters to take upon politics as a career. So that is still very challenging, and even today the success ratio in politics is very very small. So when I sacrificed a very lucrative job offer after completing my law from one of the top prestigious law schools in India, my parents had warned against it because I already had a six digit annual package in my hands. But I still, wanted to work for this country and work for my political party. And largely because of my grandfather, who was a who was my inspiration and was also leader of this party. But unfortunately, my grandfather passed away in the year 2006, so I had my own ways to come up in the party, and it was a very challenging task. Today, I'm almost 12 years into this party, and I become the youngest spokesperson of this party in my state unit, and I am also the youngest state office bearer at the age of 25. Uh, so when we talk about challenges in politics, like I said, the success ratio is very, very less. So you compare, even comparing to the common civil services exam, the success ratio in politics is very, very less in India. Probably that is the reason youngsters don't prefer to take it as a career or do not risk getting into politics full time. So one of the important factors to consider also, the growing trend of influencing politics by the youngsters is because of the advent of the social media. So when we talk about politics and governance, the contact and communication with your state, that is with your people, becomes very essential and important. So I do not discount senior politicians or the older people, that they are very very difficult to get adapted to the technology, but it comes as a natural fit for youngsters to get into politics and to use the technology and to serve people better with the technology. For example, today you have platforms like Twitter, platforms like MyGov India, and even WhatsApp has proven to be a very successful platform to address the grievances of your people from your ward or from your constituency or from your state or from your MP constituency, etc. So young politicians are trying to make a mark. But if you say the number of parliamentarians in India, out of 545, less than 6% of the MPs are below the 35 years category. So that that makes future almost uncertain for very ambitious people who are planning to sacrifice their career and get into politics. So that is where the balancing comes. Politics cannot be seen as an entire career, but you should have your own career, be it an advocate, be it a scientist, or be it a doctor or anything. And politics should be from your heart, right from your beginning days. And whenever there comes an opportunity to serve the people full time, you are expected to take up the opportunities. So that is how politics works in India. But when I see other countries, for example, like I said, Israel or South Korea, I've seen youngsters like me becoming mayors of the cities, who are in the early 30s and even late 20s. I've seen youngsters who are becoming the councillors, who are becoming the Senate members, etc. So probably in these countries, only qualification matters, and it is an easy route to get into politics. But in India, it is not. It is not the case. Even if you compare to the US, with the advent of political action committees and other places, the opportunities for youngsters who are interested in politics to engage with different platforms, engage and serve to different stakeholders is available. But in a country like India, with the evolving political practices, with an evolving concepts like political action committees, or we call as political consultancy firms, it is still a very long way to go. But what we see is, like a few of my earlier speakers said, today's youngsters are not incapable of anything. So whenever there is an opportunity, whenever there is a responsibility given to them, they make sure they are doing it with the 100% perfection, therefore impacting lives, impacting the country, and impacting the people they are interacting and concerned with. So youngsters in politics is the most talked after phenomenon in the last decade, probably because we see many emerging young politicians who are trying to take up the mantle from the seniors right across the parties. Even with the dynastic parties, the younger generation has started to take up the mantle. Therefore, it becomes necessary for the other established parties to pass over the mantle to the youngsters in their parties to take the political ideology, political governance, etc. forward. So therefore, as I see so many youngsters here in this conference, particularly from Tamil Nadu, India, so I would advise, if you are interested in politics, there are different avenues to engage yourselves. There are think tanks, and there are opportunities to work in various positions in the political parties also, right from the stream of social media, right from the stream of research, right from the stream of policy making, policy influencing, policy decisions, etc. There is a quite a need for youngsters, bright youngsters and bright young people to get into politics. So the demand is more and the supply is less. Like I said, the supply is less because of the concerns and because of the limitations that as an Indian environment gives to the aspiring and young politicians. So my request to everyone, every youngster who is part of this youth conclave, let us not shy away from politics. Politics is not something to be ashamed about. See, we cannot leave the politics to the people who are money minded and people who are not ideologically oriented. So if you think you are fit to politics, I don't think you should give up. You should strive hard. Of course, I said the success ratio is very less, but at least at the end of the day you will have the satisfaction of having fought for your idea, fought for your ideology, and fought for being in politics. So I think we all should make a try into politics if we are really interested. I'm really not talking about people who are not interested per se in getting into politics, or who are not very interested in being part of the political discourse. But if you are interested even to a certain percentage, the question again comes, if not you, who else? So that is where all the intellectual discourse ends. So we should not shy away from getting into politics. And politics is actually not a bad place to be in. It is a good place, probably polluted by bad people. That is why probably we might have bad perception about politics. So with this conference, I call for every interested aspirants to get into politics to please volunteer yourselves. There are various roles to contribute to your society, not only in India but across the countries. You can contribute for the research, you can contribute for psephology, you can contribute for policy making, etc. So youth in politics, I would like to finish with a message that today's youngsters are the most needed in politics for a change, for a reformation, to bring in political reforms, to give powers to youngsters. Without being in politics, I don't really think you can make impactful changes to the youngsters of this country. So therefore, with that end note, and exactly completing at the 10th minute, I thank all the organizers for the great opportunity. And I once again congratulate for taking huge efforts to connecting people from across the globe. And I also think we'll continue with various other programs in future. Thank you, and thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Surya. That was a great insight. We definitely agree. A lot has changed in politics, and I think to something to relate from the previous panelist, Sander, and then your talk. You have to look for the reliable information. So even in politics, please look for the reliable information, and let us all be aware that let's not shy away from politics. And then we need to get involved, because who else will? We need to get involved and fight for our right and have a sense of identity. So thank you so much for that. I took a lot of good insights from it. So with that, we would like to move on to our next and last panelist for this event. And just to let you know, another announcement, we'll be giving out feedback form soon. So stay with us and fill in the feedback form so that you get the participation certificate. And then we are also streaming live on Three Sisters YouTube. And so now going to the last and final and the dessert for our youth conclave event. So next,
moving on to our next panelist, we have Mrs. Madhusuda. She is a certified energy healer, storyteller, Ho'oponopono facilitator, NLP practitioner, urban farmer, sea keeper, and athlete. I can keep going. And she's also the founder of Sukumbaba, a community dedicated for personal development. She is happy to say she's from my hometown, Coimbatore, and has been living in Silicon Valley with her family for almost a decade. Before moving to the USA, she has been working with huge IT giants in Bangalore.
Yeah, she had a burning desire and curiosity to learn the secrets of life. This constant curiosity and led her to the spiritual path. She began talking and sharing her knowledge on holistic health and on media through Bay Area radio station. Also blogging about health and food and nutrition. She's involved herself in various nonprofits, mindful startups, and conscious leadership initiatives.
Gradually, her life path became clear as she mentions her calling came to her, and Madhu's self-discovery journey was not quite easy, but she realized that serving humanity is the core of life, and only a service can bring her close to God. And Madhu finds her satisfaction and fulfillment in facilitating personal growth for her clients who are across countries and in India, USA, Canada, and in Southeast Asia. So I'm more than humble and honored to bring up this selfless individual onto the virtual stage.
Over to you, Ms. Madhusudha.
Namaste and Vanakkam to everybody. I'm so thrilled to be talking to you all, especially this youth. And what excites me even more is that I'm talking to a bunch of people who are now located in Kovai because I am from Coimbatore. It feels so great and I feel so honored to be doing this. I first of all want to thank the Sixth Sense NGO and Three Sisters for doing this together. I've heard a lot of perspectives from the speakers who spoke before me. I made a lot of notes here. Awesome. Thank you so much. So the topic being Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, I want to extend and talk about the spiritual connection and what it actually means. We all know and we have heard of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam almost maybe from school, maybe from colleges, universities. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, as we all know, means the world is one family. It is from our ancient wisdom, old ancient texts. So Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is also mentioned in several Upanishads. One of which that I want to quote is a Subhashitam, which goes like this. Ayam nijaha paro veti ganana laguchetasam udara charitanam tu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So in this, the poet says that anybody who thinks only my neighbor who's next to me, only my friends are my family, or people who I don't know, people who I'm not connected to are not mine, are people who are small thinkers. And people who think all the world is my family and everybody is my kin and kith are the people who have the big picture thinking. So here, the truth is that nobody is separate from one another. We are all interconnected. The speakers who came before me told you and emphasized about how we are all interconnected and how we cannot exist together. It's the same thing here. Nobody exists without another. I wouldn't be here if not for you all. And you all wouldn't be here if we were not here and we, the organizers, were not here. So we all are interconnected. Without this connection, nothing can exist. That is the core and the truth. It is the spiritual oneness. Even though we're physically distributed, some are in India, some are in some other countries, and I'm talking to you all from California, I'm in a different time zone. Even though we're all separated, we're all united. How? With our energies. Presently, at this moment, in this year, in this now, I see 100 participants here. We're all connected, even though we are not physically sitting next to each other. That is the connection of the energy. So there is a huge energy circle here working together to talk about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So this was told to us from the ancient period. And we had another poet named Kaniyan Pungundranar, and he said, Yadum Ure Yavarum Kelar. And this is from Tamil language. He meant to say that you can belong to any cities, you can be anybody, you can have a different skin color, you can speak a different language, could be from across the globe, but at the core, we are all united. We are all together. So it's about shared humanity. The poet spoke about shared humanity, being together, close, without being separated. Now, spiritually, we feel that, we say that our separation is just Maya, is an illusion. But the reality is that at the core, we are all united. And this is not something which you can see, because physically what you can see with your eyes is that, we are all discrete, distinct, unique individuals. I am an individual here. Shri sisters, they are one unit there. And then all the speakers here, all the people here, you're all separate individual units. But at the core, the energy connects us. There is a golden thread that connects us. That is our spiritual oneness. Oneness is all that is. Rest, the divisiveness, the fragments, the sectarianism, the denominations, all that separate us are not the truth, are not the reality. So now I brought to you about the wisdom from our own country, one from Sanskrit text, one from Tamil text. I want to bring to you another philosophy, which is from a continent a little far from where we live. It is from Africa. In South Africa, there is a philosophy called Ubuntu. And there are a bunch of people named the Nguni Bantu people. And they speak a language called Luni Bantu. So in Nguni Bantu, Ubuntu means I am because we are. I cannot exist without you all. I cannot exist myself. Because of this reason, I sometimes, not sometimes actually, always feel there is no one person who could say, I am self-made. If you need to build yourself, you need people who can help you, who can connect you, who can teach you, who can raise you, who can facilitate things for you. So there is no individual thing here. Everything is connected. So this Ubuntu, which is from South Africa, is very much in alignment with what we have in our own country. I am because we are. I want to show you something. And if you all have a pen or a paper, I would ask you to write it down. And I'll show you something which will blow your mind. When I learned it, I was like, wow. See, it's the feeling of we. When I think of I, development, progress cannot happen. But we can grow. And our growth can be expedited. It can act as a catalyst when we understand the concept of oneness. When we understand we're all one, we're not separate, we understand the interconnectedness and the value of shared humanity, we will grow faster. There'll be more compassion, more loving kindness, there'll be more understanding and considerateness among all of us. So this is what I want to show you all. Over here, I've written illness. You read that? ILLNESS. I'm going to strike this I because I am, because we are, and we are a Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I'm going to write we. I strike the I from the illness, and when I strike it and replace that with we, the illness becomes wellness. See that? How beautiful it is? Illness can become wellness if you replace the I with we. When we work together, we bring this youth conclave. When we work together, we bring these speakers together. So we facilitate this for our youth. Isn't that beautiful? So this has helped me in my life in many ways. And I think this should go across to the youth. Often we say that youth, I've heard this, they say that, the youth is always on social media, youth is just talking, watching movies, or maybe time passing, right? And I hear many people say that, and they say that the youth is all about technology, movies, and all these things. But I don't believe in that, because the youth are not useless. The youth are used less. When we facilitate all this spiritual wisdom, all this ancient wisdom from across continents, from across countries, and we see the interconnectedness of the Indian philosophy, of South African philosophy, everything together, when we bring it and we make it as a package and give it to our youth, they will grow. Because as my previous speaker said, that we are a nation of youthful adults, right? So we want to tap into this wisdom. So the youth are not useless, but they used less. The youth are not careless, but they are cared less. The more importance that we give to our youth, they're going to build our nation. Like my previous speaker said, we should be interested in politics. Why not? Why should we be conditioned by the idea that, oh, politics means it's bad? That is the conditioning. Society may teach you that you shouldn't learn one language. You shouldn't learn this. You're separated from the rest. We have these states in India for organizational convenience. This is not about the separation. We need, these kind of organizations so that the administration can happen easily. Yes. So that is why we need this discrete, unique, distinct states. There can be 50 states in the US. There can be 29, 30 states in India, because we need somebody to administer every state. So that is not separation. That's just being unique entities. But at the core, we should all be connected. Whether or not your brain can understand this information that we are connected, we are connected. Whether you agree, whether you disagree, whether you know, whether you don't know, we are all connected. How? Spiritually, we say that we are not just this body. This body is what you can see because it's physical, right? But there is something called Atma. Atma means soul. The soul is not something which you can see with your physical eyes. Soul is an energy. And this energy, for people who have their third eye opened, it looks like a beautiful light because we come from light. Our source, our creator, the God, give it any name, the God consciousness or anything. Everything, right? We come from light. We are beings of light. And when our third eye is opened, we are all seen as lights, and the lights don't, they all come from one source, and we all come from the same source, the creator, the universe. So there is no religion in the energy world. It's only in this physical world we have languages, we have all the divisions, right? But we do not have any divisions in the energy world. As an energy, we're all connected, interconnected. We are all interdependent on one another. There is no separation. Separation is an illusion. Now, I spoke to you about the African and Indian philosophies. There is Japan, another Asian country. And in Japan, there is a place called Okinawa. And Okinawa is categorized into what is called a blue zone. A blue zone is a territory or a geographical location where people live longer than anywhere else. So people in Okinawa are centenarians. When I say centenarians, I mean to say that people live above 100 years of age. You know why? What is the reason? People go there and study. People want to know what is the secret of such long age, longevity. How are people living for such long years and they're happy? Not just long, they're physically healthy, emotionally, mentally, spiritually healthy. Do you know the secret to it? I will tell you the secret. The secret is they live in communities. They live together. They have a purpose to their lives. They're interconnected. Suppose if somebody is feeling bad, they don't think I'm all by myself. They go to somebody in the community. And there is always somebody to support. And this community in Japan is called the Moai, M-O-A-I. This Moai is a beautiful example for all the world, where people live in communities together with a purpose. Everybody has a purpose in life. Everybody lives together and they're bonded by love. One of our speakers mentioned about heart. Each of our hearts have all the wisdom. Our hearts don't separate us. It is the head, the logical mind, the analytical mind which separates us. Oh, she's from my country. She's from my language speaking state. This is from the head, but the heart unites. What we need at this juncture, in this now, is that we need the education of the heart. At the core, the heart will give you the wisdom that we're all connected. When you see somebody who makes a good speech, or when you see somebody who influences you, tells you good things, you don't say, hey, she has a good heart, she has a big head. You will like it to say, She is large-hearted, isn't it? You would say the heart is big. Nobody ever likes to be said the head is big, right? That is the power of heart. And the education of the heart is what we want. And this oneness is from the heart. The heart can feel this oneness. This oneness is all that is. This is divine. And when we open ourselves to this oneness, so many things will open to us. These are not things that you can see physically, but you can see this when it happens. When oneness, when we awake ourselves to oneness, so many things just open up. We feel connected. We don't fight anymore. We don't feel the sectarian thoughts. We don't feel divisive, and we do not fall culprit to anybody who tries to separate us. Right? That is why oneness is very important. In Sanskritam, we say Aikyam. And in Tamil, we say Vanre Kulam Uruvane Devan. When we understand this, that is when we can be enlightened. Enlightenment is not something which should come to you or which you will seek when you're 50 or 60. You can get this beautiful, simplified, ancient wisdom at any age. And I believe 100% that when it is given to our youth, we can make a difference, huge difference. So my CTA, hashtag CTA, you're all youth, right? You use the hashtags and all on your socials. Hashtag CTA, call to action, is to understand this wisdom that we're all connected, we're not separated. We are together in this. Yeah, we're together. I want you all to affirm this. And before I go, I want to take you all into a mini meditation. Just close your eyes for a minute. Keep your eyes closed. Breathe in. Breathe out all your self-doubts, your fears, any ideas of separation, any resistances to release, all the separatist, fragmentist ideas. Release everything through your breath. Releasing through your breath can bring in a lot of inner peace and calmness. Now, I am, affirm this with me and repeat after me. You can do this when you're muted. I am a child of God. I am a child of the cosmic consciousness. I and everybody that I meet have the divine spark. I am one with God. I am one with all. There is only oneness. Oneness is all that is. Anything other than oneness is an illusion, is Maya. Feel the stillness. Think of a person that you love unconditionally. Your heart will guide you. It could be a saint, a teacher, your mother, your child, anybody that you love unconditionally without any conditions. Feel the joy when you think of this person who you love. Now, with this love in your heart, radiate and send this love to the whole planet. Extend the same love that you feel for this special person in your life to every being, every human, every country on this beloved planet, our Mother Earth. Extend this love. As you do this, you're sending love to Earth. You're blessing everybody, every being on our planet. It is in blessing others that we are blessed. See our mother being completely blessed with love energies. You can send heart emojis. You can send LOVE. You can do anything. You can get as creative as you can. But the intention is to send love and love only. Anytime you're ready, you can open your eyes. I'm sure you all felt the oneness and you extended the love to the whole planet. I'm very thankful to you all for this meditation, joining me in this meditation. And before I leave the session, I want to tell you that if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go farther, go together. Thank you so much for listening to me. This is Madhu, and we are rising to morning. It's 7 a.m. now. I see metaphorically that as we are awakening to this idea of oneness, California is awakening to morning. How beautiful is that? Namaste and thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you.
I think best to save for the last.
Thank you so much. I think you were the best, I guess, costumed, best. I think we got a lot of feedback actually from the chat, from the YouTube live, and I think a lot of people understood what you were saying, and then you addressed a lot of people's issues personally. So thank you. I think one of the takeaway I have to say is that you did like punches after punches, so punchlines. So I
was like, whoa.
Yeah. So youth are used less. They're not used less. I agree. We are not used less. We're just used less. And then you have something, right?
Separation is an illusion. That was amazing. That was like enlightenment to me. So
yep. And then we need to also be spiritually aware that we're connected even though we are not in person. And I agree that because my grandmother back at home in village, when we don't have a good day, she calls like, are you not having a good day? And I don't understand how she does that. But when we have a great day, or if my school is not going well, she say, stop others, just do school. I'm like, I wonder how she knows. So I definitely agree with that. And then as we said, and also one more thing, youth are not careless, they're just cared less. So me and my sister has come up to say this dialogue to my dad when he uses it. So thank you for that. But we're done. We are concluding the event. Before moving on to the word of thanks, I would like to just restate that we have shared the feedback form on both YouTube chat, live chat, and then here on the Zoom chat. Please go share your feedback, share your love, and tell us what we can do better, and tell us what you liked, so that you will get to receive a certificate. And then we're happy to organize this whole successful event together from the Sri Sisters with the Sixth Sense Foundation, Global International School, Konganadu Arts and Science College, and Sri Sarada Niketan College of Science for Women, Karur. And with that, we would like to conclude the event with a word of thanks by our dad, Selvaraj Nagamuthu. He's originally brought up in village in India, but eventually rose above all his challenges and obstacles, and came to the United States to give us, our family, a better lifestyle. And I think he did a great job. And he loves farming. He's currently working in Global Foundries, and he's a software architect. So with that, I would like him to take over for the word of thanks. Over to you.
Wow, that's yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Madhu. Thank you so much, all the speakers. Thank you so much, Three Sisters. It is maybe if you all can come up the video, it would be really great. Come on, be on the video. Let's clap. Let's make some noise for all these wonderful speakers, because they have taken their time out and they came, they poured their heart, knowledge, wisdom. Imagine everybody is about 20, 30 years experience of 5, 7, 8 speakers. You heard about 150 years, 200 years of experience here this evening. And I salute you, all of you, because it's not like Zooming, it's like phobia, right? 2 hours you have been here. A lot of people on the YouTube. It is excellent. And thank you, my awesome, lovely, beautiful daughters, three sisters. You are rocking. This is what we need on this planet Earth. This is exactly what Sander was talking about. Know the awareness. Have that awareness. With all this, I just wanted to, I think Sri Sister said already, this is a channel live, and also good news is the entire New York, it is going to be in ITV Gold. They are happily accepting and they want to telecast this recording and bits and pieces actually. So ITV Gold is a TV channel that they are going to telecast this entire awesome session. And I wanted to thank Pradeep Gunashekhar and convener, and I wanted to thank Sri Sarada Niketan College for Women, and I wanted to thank Vivekananda Study Circle. I want to thank Sri Sisters, the USA Sixth Sense Foundation, and all the speakers. And especially I have to say, if you want to go further, I have visited 15 countries so far. I wanted to visit 100 countries before I leave this oneness, right? But still the oneness will continue, guys. So for that, we need to be together if we want to go further, as Madhu said. And then Sri Sister Sander was a technology person. She came on, she poured her heart, being a young woman, and how she has overcome these technology changes, which adults should know. It's not about the money, it's about the, all the facts. Thank you, Sander. Thank you, Dr. Mohan Priya. Thank you, Mr. Surya. Thank you, Harsha Narayan. And Arun, who's a Talam website, and he is an entrepreneur, Dr. Vivek. They all poured their heart. I just wanted to thank them from the bottom of my heart. Madhukarji, Vasiki ma'am, that was wonderful. Actually, Vasiki ma'am started with Vasudeva Kudangam as Yadu More, Yabarum Kelir. That's how actually Madhuji finished it. What a start and finish. And as per the Stephen Covey book, it is a begin with end in mind. Guys, believe me, we just had a talk with Santoshji and we put this together. Just a small thought initiated. So many people benefited with this 400 years of knowledge here. Knowledge. That is fantastic. So have your thought. Don't worry where you are. Just instant thought. The oneness will take care. Spread this knowledge. And people will come and pour their knowledge. You just don't shy away. Just have that thought. That's what I wanted to say. And I really want to thank God. I really want to thank my parents. And I want to thank this oneness. Let's have this Vasudeva Kudumbakam as one family, one soul, one nation. And let's go forward. Let's achieve a lot more things in life. We will look forward, all of you, to meet with you, share this knowledge in future, either social media. Every speakers have their social media presence. Get onto the social media, have the huge networking, increase your networking. Net worth is your network. With that, I would like to thank you so much. Thank you, Santosh, and everybody, all the committee members, all the speakers. Thank you all so much. And thank you, Sri Sisters. Bye-bye. Stay connected, stay tuned.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Appa, for the ball of energy.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so with that, we conclude our today's youth conclave, the first youth conclave conducted, I guess. But we are immensely proud and happy. Thank you for the opportunity, Santosh ji. Because of you, we were able to initiate as a team together. And thank you for all the committee members who put in time and effort towards this event. And thank you to all the speakers, importantly, to prepare, take time away from their lives and families to share and pour into our lives. Thank you so much. And with that, we're done. If you have any questions in the Zoom, please do hang around. I think we have few speakers on the call, and then you can ask your questions. But I would be ending the Zoom YouTube live now. So thank you all.
Thank you so much
and,
for joining.
Yeah, and have a great rest of the year. Let's believe in the value of being oneness, and let's develop the hashtag of the world is one family. And with that, we're